Okay, we're recording. So I'm just going to say a quick prayer. And everybody, I just invite you to just take a deep breath. And Seema, maybe could you mute the participants, and then that way, just in
Yeah.
case there's background noise.
Thank you. Thanks for
Thank
that.
you. Okay. So we just invite Holy Spirit, God, whoever you feel is your higher power, whoever you feel is your creator, bigger than yourself. We just invite just Holy Spirit to really take a moment to be grateful for this joining. And we just are so excited to be here. And we ask that whatever people are looking for and searching for, and the type of healing, the deep healing that we are all affirming, just that we all have the opportunity to be ourselves, to be truly, truly open in our journey. And I'm so excited that everyone is here. We're grateful, and we just ask for a blessing of this joining. Amen.
Amen. All right.
It's so quiet.
Okay. All right. So I thought what we would just start with is I could take just a couple of minutes just to introduce myself, because I think most of you know Judy, but maybe you know a little bit about me. So I am a physician, and what I really wanted to share is I'm actually gonna share a photograph, because I think this photograph will be helpful. So if you just give me a minute, and for those who are on the phone call, you'll be able to view the video as well as the whatever we're sharing. So you'll be able to tune in that. So my journey basically began as a physician, but because I was my background, I was born in India and had a background in looking at healing in a very broad way, because in India you have so many different ways to heal, from herbal medicine to using Western medicine to homeopathy, prayer, mantra, yoga, Reiki, acupuncture, acupressure, food as medicine, you name it. So I always had this broad way of looking at it, yet I also understood that healing was broad and also more deeper than the Western model. So that was kind of my background. I was always searching. And the picture that I'm sharing is this idea that when you're looking at health and healing, you're often looking just at the tip of the iceberg, just the stuff on the surface, but that there's much deeper. There's stuff that's much deeper. And that was my desire, to go deeper. So mind-body medicine was something that I was really interested in, the relaxation response, the stuff at, they did the stuff at Harvard, Herbert Benson, all that stuff. I did, workshops and all of it. And then this idea of how we could empower ourselves to heal led me eventually to the Course in Miracles. And when I found the Course in Miracles, a light bulb went on, something just told me that I had found what I needed. It was going to be my map of healing. So that's kind of my backdrop. And Judy and I put this program together because we want to just honor that desire each of us has to realize who we truly are, the purity, the perfection, the wholeness, the joy that we know. We intuitively know this, but how do we really experience it? So we're not just reading a book or, quoting someone, but we have an authentic experience. And so this idea of going to the roots to find healing, that's been my journey. And so the Course in Miracles met me in a perfect time when I was ready to really do that deeper work. So hopefully this course, we will give you tools that we have used that have helped us. And we don't think one thing works for everyone, but we hope that we can share different things and you can test them out. We invite you to, just like a scientist going into a laboratory, just play with them, practice with them. If it doesn't work, no worries, something else might work. And we invite your feedback, of course. So that's kind of my background. And then I'm just going to turn it over to Judy so she can add a little bit about herself.
Oh, sure. Thank you so much. I'm so excited that I know a lot of people in the group, but there's also quite a few people that I don't know. Um, so I am a Course in Miracles student, and um, I don't know, I've been hesitant to call myself a teacher, but I guess we're all students and teachers, right? And I'm actually an ordained Course in Miracles minister, and I absolutely love the idea of joining. And when Seema and I, we met about 3 years ago at a Course in Miracles conference in New York City, and we just became fast friends, and we've always kept in touch. And we had talked about doing a course that would be not like your typical online course where, which they're great, right? There's so many online courses that we do where you get an email each day and you have a practice and you have different things that you're studying. And we are going to offer, different emails through the course, but really the focus of it for us is really in the joining. And we really understand that we can't wake up alone, that it's truly in joining with our mighty companions and going deep and really looking at different things that might still be triggering us. And we're going to talk about that on this call, kind of like the primary reason why we created this. And I'm just really excited to be here. And we're planning to do more courses as time goes on. We're really excited to be working together. Courses possibly on relationships and parenting and food, and there's just all these different things that we want to explore. So, and when we talked about this, we don't really see ourselves as like teachers in the sense that like, okay, we're teaching you, like we have something that you don't have. Like we're the students too. Like we really feel like all of us are teachers and we're here to teach each other the truth of who we really are. So we're just reflecting each other. So we just wanted to make sure to pass that along. So thank you so much for being here, and we're excited. Thank you. My mouth is dry because I'm nervous.
Yeah, and so to get into what we want to share today, Coaching for Inner Peace is which is a nonprofit that actually I started with my parents, my dad and mom are on this call. So I'm so thrilled because this is the first time they're on a call like that. So I think that's a very, their blessings are totally with us and with me. So I'm really grateful for that. The Coaching for Inner Peace came about when I was working with the Course in Miracles, and I started to feel, I started to experience, actually I had been dealing with a physical health challenge with chronic pain. And I had been working with the Course, and the symptoms started to come up again. And because I had all that, the background, I had studied with like many different teachers, Lisa Natoli, Bill Free, David Hoffmeister, so many others, wonderful teachers, that I said, okay, this is an opportunity for me to really look at this because it's coming up for a reason. And as I let myself kind of go through it, I realized that I had to go really deep. Like I said to one of my friends that it's like if you've got a house and you're cleaning, you got to go to the cellar and the basement and the attic and everything. Like it was that deep. I had to face all kinds of thoughts and beliefs and ideas that like your shadow total. So it wasn't all pretty, it was not all an easy thing to do, but I had support. I had teachers with me joining what Judy emphasized. That was so key in my healing. The Course teaches the separation that creates illness, whereas healing comes from minds that join, illness from minds that separate. So that kind of became my like mantra. And when I healed from that experience, and it wasn't this like, I still had to, there was medicine, there was doctors, there was surgery, whatever. There was this outer journey, but there was this inner journey. When I came out of it, it wasn't just a physical healing. Like I felt like this idea of the mind, the resurrection of the mind, like there was something really opened up inside me. And that's where I felt the inspiration to create this Coaching for Inner Peace to I'm just going to mute this. Yeah. That's where the inspiration came for Coaching for Inner Peace. So when I started to write about it, it's like I was kind of given the steps that I had used and I didn't realize I had used them. So for today's call, we're really going to focus on the first step, and that step is commitment. Many of you have done the 40-day program, I know, with Lisa, and commitment is key, right? Because without commitment, we can't really do anything. But even that commitment, we want to look a little differently today. And to help us do that, Judy and I wanted to share a poem by Rumi that Judy's going to read for us. So I'm just going to try to, just give me 1 second so I can find this. Okay, let me just go back to here. Oh, here we go. Okay, give me 1 second here. Okay, Judy, can you see this? Or
Yep, I can see it. Great.
you can?
Yeah.
You can?
There we
Okay,
go.
perfect. Okay,
We're
and
good.
those of us.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
I can see it, and I printed it too.
Oh, perfect, perfect. Okay,
Okay.
so yes, if you'd like to please read
Okay.
that for us. Yeah.
Okay. Sure. Okay, so the title of the poem is The Guest House. This being human is a guest house. Every morning a new arrival. A joy, a depression, a meanness, some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all, even if they're a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house, empty of its furniture. Still, treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whoever comes because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. And that's from Rumi. And I love this poem. And when I first read it, my very, very favorite part was the part about the dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. And don't we all want to get to that point where we've all been on our path, whether it be A Course in Miracles or whatever. There's so many paths up the mountain, right? And there are times when we can feel like, you know what, I've got this, I'm doing the work, I'm studying, I'm aware of the truth, and then something can happen. It can kind of turn on a dime, right? And we can momentarily feel a bit shaken. And what we all really want to do is to get to a place where no matter what it is, that we invite it. We actually invite it in and just say, you know what, I'm ready. I'm ready for this to be healed. I'm ready so that I don't have to keep being shown more and more examples of, some kind of a false belief, right? Because what it really comes down to is we're attracting things to ourselves that will bring up our false beliefs so that they can be healed. So Seema and I thought, what better way than to just completely join together with a group of people. And it started out with a very small group and it ended up growing to almost 100. And we were so excited because everybody's on board and saying, you know what, this is something that we really want to do. So thank you for finding that poem, Seema. It's perfect for this.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel that this poem reflects the awareness I was given when I was facing that challenge, that I had struggled with it for so many years and tried all kinds of different treatment and all of that. And I just knew that I had maxed that out. Like there was no more to do. Not that I was going to abandon anything. And it just struck me that there's something in the mind. There's something I'm holding on to that I'm not letting go of. This must be in the mind. And that started the inward journey. But with it, I also got this awareness that I don't have to wait for this to heal for me to find my inner peace. That, it is possible to experience that and allow this to work itself out. And that was like that surrender, that deep letting go. However, it came through doing many things like following guidance and joining with teachers and doing different processes. So my desire when I came out of that was like, how could we put this together so that if someone was facing something like that, that they could have a guide, that they could look at something and, like Rumi says, be grateful for whoever comes because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. So how could that actually become like our inner teacher, like an opportunity for a lesson, not like, like, oh God, I got to do this, but almost like, okay, like I remember that moment when I had that awareness that I can be at peace even though this is happening, I felt free, and the healing didn't happen yet. The pain didn't leave. I still had to negotiate other things on the outer realm, but I could feel like almost a sense of excitement, like I had reached something had opened. So to kind of reiterate that point, one of the things that when Judy and I were talking, one of the things that was coming up, and Judy mentioned this many times, was this idea of, and I don't know if that's the word she used, but I remember telling her that, yeah, this is like we can avoid doing this work and do what's called like a spiritual bypass. So some of you may know what that is, and some of you maybe don't. I know it's something I kind of learned maybe a couple of years ago. So I wanted to, again, just share about that. So a spiritual bypass, and some of you can see the screen. I'm going to read it for those who are on the phone. A spiritual bypass is a tendency to use spiritual ideas and practices to sidestep or avoid facing unresolved emotional issues, psychological wounds, and unfinished developmental tasks. And this is by a psychologist, a psychotherapist, who's also a Buddhist teacher. So what can a spiritual bypass look like? So David Hoffmeister, who's many of you know is a really wonderful Course in Miracles teacher, I did this online training with him called Mystical Mind Training with him and his students. And they use this term called metaphysical ghosting. So like, we say, oh, it's just a ghost. It's not real. It's just a ghost. Well, we can say that about our experiences, especially the ones that are unpleasant, and we want to be good students and, kind of say everything is working well and we've got this. We can say, oh, well, it's just a dream. It's not real anyway. It's all an illusion. And the thing is, the Course is, it's such a profound text, right? It's so profound. It's so deep. Yet at the same time, it can become a text and it can become intellectual. So we could learn the words. Like my teacher, Patty Fields, who's a local Course teacher, she was my first Course in Miracles teacher. She would say it's like you have an ego and then you have a spego, S-P-E-G-O, a spiritual ego. So like that's kind of learning the things that right along with you. And it's so tricky because here we are trying to discern for the voice of God, listen to that intuition, this inner wisdom, but the ego is, fast and furious. It comes first. And so it can boom, oh, it's just an illusion. Oh, it's not real. And what does that do? That like puts the lid down. It just, the stuff that's coming up for healing, you push it down again. And instead of the light, kind of shining through that, I give this analogy. It's like you've got this beautiful cake and you put mud on it and you say, here, eat that. No one wants to eat that. But like, that's what we do when we sort of, that darkness, we try to hide it. But luckily or not luckily, it won't hide. Because once you say yes to this path, you don't want to hide it. I mean, the Course says that, you recognize these two truths, that you can hide it and you don't want to hide it because you want the light. You want your true nature. You want that experience. And if we can, as Judy we were looking at that poem, if we can invite it, if we can see that that's actually the inner teacher or spirit pushing that up, so then the healing can happen, then there's no judgment. It's more like, wow, this is part of the healing. Like if you have, if you've got to go for an operation or surgery, or there's like an abscess, you want to pop it, right? You need a needle and you want to pop it, and it's going to be messy, but it's good to get that out, because if you don't get it out, it's going to cause more problems. And so I feel like, Jesus or the inner teacher, whatever name we want to use, is like the master healer, the master therapist, the master surgeon, knows exactly where to go, knows exactly what needs healing, when, where, how, everything. We just, as the Course says, we don't want to interfere. We don't want to interfere. So those are the ideas that we want to present, and we want to kind of see when we do that, or even on others, we might say it to others, well, it's not real anyway, you should know that, or we just sort of have that way, and we want to look at that and say, oh, okay, maybe that's not so helpful, because maybe that's actually preventing the healing. Judy, do you want to add anything?
Sure. Yeah, thanks, Seema. I love the way that you explained that. And for me, when I worked with Lisa and Bill for like the last 5 years, I used to help them with emails. And it was funny. I was looking one day at how many emails had been sent, and it was like something like 12,000. I'm like, oh my God, that's a lot of emails. And when I think of just the overall, just a lot of people would write in because they were too uncomfortable to post on Facebook, because we would have groups, with the programs that we were doing. And just these amazing people that are doing the work, working really hard, being brutally honest with themselves and open, but things would happen and they wouldn't want to post about what was happening, really. But it just felt safer to send an email, to be able to say, you know what, I'm going through something, but I don't really want everyone to know. And really the reason that they didn't want people to know is because they didn't want people to get the impression that they weren't doing the work, that they didn't get it. There was almost like a feeling of like failure, or like, okay, there's just, I don't want people to really see what I'm going through. And what I want to say is that that's why we named the group even a safe space for healing, because there have been people that have studied the course for 30 years and they know it inside and out and they live it and breathe it. And they still can have moments where they get stuck, and that's okay. It doesn't mean that we, that saying, throw the baby out with the bathwater. It doesn't mean that we don't get it. It doesn't mean that everything that we've already learned and absorbed isn't there. It's just that my understanding and my belief is that we all have these kind of hidden false beliefs about ourselves that are made from very early on. And if we don't work through them and bring them up to the light for healing, then we're going to be shown more and more examples of that false belief. And for me, it's just really wanting, in SEMA too, we just wanted to create a place where we could all just be open and honest with no judgment and no feeling of like, okay, how could they not get it at this point? That's just really not possible, because we're all in this journey together. And to me, when somebody is just honest about that and just says, you know what, I got stuck, something happened here, and it keeps coming up, and I just want it to be done. I just want to clear this once and for all. It's just a great way of being together. And they say that we can't wake up alone, right? And so just having each other to go through that, because I've heard so many times, I've said it to myself, I've said it to other people, no, we know this isn't real, this is all part of the illusion. Everything that is happening is something that we've asked for. But when the tire hits the road and that situation is happening, it's not always easy to remember that. Even though people can be saying it, we can be reading it, we might not actually feel it. And that's why we wanted to just create an open forum where people could just, and it's not that we want people to get stuck in stories. We don't want people to feel like they are, obviously we don't want people to feel like they're in like a victim mode or anything like that. But it's really just an honest and open way of dealing with whatever's coming up for us, and just having a place to be able to share. So we're excited about that.
That's great. Perfect. So I wanted to actually just share two more just pictures. And like I said, for those on the phone call, they'll be part of in that course, Thinkific course, so you'll have access to it. But I think a picture sometimes is a really powerful way. So let me see if I can. Here we go. Okay. So, okay. So this is just, it's just it's like a triangle. And the idea is that the mind, the course, right? It's healing your mind, change your mind again and again. Jesus invites us, you can change your mind, but the mind is deep. The mind is very deep. So the conscious mind is like the top, some people say 5%, maybe that's what we're aware of. Much deeper is what's called the upper, or, the subconscious or unconscious mind. But when my teacher, Patty, actually showed me a picture like this, I had been doing different stuff, but I hadn't really been able to go deeper to those beliefs of unworthiness and guilt and, lack. Like, how does one get to that? And you don't want to do that if you're not like prepared for that either. So it's not like something that you just want to go into without having mighty companions with you. So I probably didn't do that because I was waiting. I think everything was preparing me to get to a teaching like the Course in Miracles, which then gave me the map. But what struck me, and in this picture, you've got the top is the conscious mind, and then you've got all this subconscious, unconscious. But guess what? Beneath that is the light, is the inner wisdom and the spirit. So why do we want to do that? Not to get stuck in it, not to like how the Course says, the ego loves to study itself. No, not to do this intellectual, any of that. But it's because all of that is pushing the light down, or you could say the light wants to push that out, however you want to look at it. So for me, when I saw it that way, then I thought, oh yeah, that makes sense. I want to devote myself to that purpose, because the whole point is eventually, like the Course says, behind every grievance, there's a miracle, right? So every grievance hides a miracle. So you want to go through it because why? Because it's always a lesson of love. It's always a lesson of love for yourself, love for someone else, or just knowing your love. So for me, like that diagram is a helpful reminder to see just kind of, where the mind is and why we want to kind of do this deeper work, and why it actually is to connect us to our truth and to connect us. Because people say, well, I want to connect. But as we're going to show, once you make the commitment, you also have to clear. You have to clear a lot of stuff. You've got a house. And again, that analogy, you want space. Oftentimes, it's not like getting more things. It's like getting rid of what you have. And then you have the space. And let me see if I've got one more picture of this. It's the same one. Yeah, so this picture is also another analogy of that whole idea that the conscious mind is just the tip of the iceberg. We've got the ego, the superego, the id, and that deeper work to go beneath that. And Jesus, gave the Course in Miracles to a group of psychologists. So for me, that's really meaningful. Being a physician, that here's a manual that can help us do this deeper healing.
I love this picture, Seema. And it's like, for me, I'm sorry, I hope I didn't interrupt.
No, please. Yeah. No, that's good.
Well, I keep thinking of a blog that Bill Free did, and he was talking about the iceberg, right? And there's just like this top of the iceberg that's outside of the water, but everything that's underneath is what's hidden, right? It's hidden from us. And what I feel like is that when we get triggered and something really makes us upset or sad or hurt or whatever, that's what's under the water. That's the part of the iceberg that's the reason that we wanted to create this course, so that we could actually drill up the bottom of the iceberg, blow it up, do whatever we have to do, so that you know what I mean, so that whole iceberg is visible to us, right? So yeah. I just like that analogy. I love this picture.
Yeah. And it's like this idea that when and as you pointed out, that joining, it's like two or more are gathered, that I am presence is there, that light and love is there. So what we thought was so bad or so awful or so like, oh, I can't go there, you can go away and you start just seeing, oh, it's not so bad. It's not what I thought it was. So I feel that's also the thing, that we're guided through it with light and love as well when we join. That we don't have to do it alone.
Great.
Okay, so I'm just gonna go through this and let's see. All right, so we want to, at least on this first call, give you.
I'm wondering if before we do the, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, go on. Yep.
There's a little bit of a delay. I'm sorry, Seema. I'm wondering if before we go on to the map of healing, do we want to unmute and see if anybody wants to, let's see, do you think we have enough time to see if anybody has any questions?
We have like maybe about 4 or 5 minutes. We could do that. Let me go to manage. Okay. So actually, if you want to say something, I guess I could unmute. I just wonder if everyone's.
Yeah, I think we have 16 altogether, so it's not like a huge group, so it might be okay.
Yeah. So I'm unmuting. So if anyone wants to say something, or if you want to post a question, feel free to.
It's still showing muted on my end. I don't know. Everybody's got like a little phone with a red line there.
Yeah. You know what? Okay, here.
Oh, that worked. That did it. That
Did
worked.
it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Crickets.
Go back. You know what I could do? I can stop share for a minute. Let me do that. Stop share. There we go. So we can see everyone. Does anyone have it?
Yeah. Did I put the date on it that I deposited?
No.
Oh.
I think I know where to find it.
I think you deposited this recently.
Right.
Okay.
That was funny.
All right.
Let me see if okay.
I don't know if there's a way to mute that one person.
Yeah, I'm not sure who that. Do you know who that is? I can't tell.
As it turned out that the entire thing was for
maybe we should
American
just
cinema.
mute everybody again.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I just muted it. Okay, let me. Where's Judy?
Just write in the chat, and then that way we can.
Yeah, that might
unmute
be
you.
easier. Yeah. Yes, if you've got questions, please use the chat window, or yeah, definitely let us know. Technology is funny.
Life happens, right? Life happens.
Life happens.
And banking.
Great.
That's funny.
Okay. Oh, here we go. Okay, so there's okay. Thank you, Lori. Thank you so much. She's typing in. Thank you to both of you for this, both of us for this course. So thank you. You're welcome. Thank you. Okay.
I love that. Whether you've been a student for 5 minutes or 30 years, we are always students first. True. Yeah.
And I love the beginner's mind, Lori. I feel like I was a yoga teacher for many years, and I love beginner students because I felt like they're, I love the beginner's mind. That's where, when you can say, I don't know, usually that means you're on the verge of healing,
Yeah.
You can let everything down and say, I don't know. I don't know.
Well, can you hear me?
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah.
Good. I unmuted myself. So true. What I was going to say is, I don't care how long you've been doing the course. Everyone comes up with these blocks and these obstacles, and it's just in the remembering to do what we know about what the course says. But it's all about inquiry, and if you don't question everything all of the time, then there is going to be some things that are below the surface, or as Judy said, the water side of the iceberg. So these things are necessary. If we want to heal, if it's healing, or if we want to just be happy every day, it does not matter how long you've been doing any kind of spiritual practice, course or otherwise. That's just something that's going to be for your life on this earth, because that's why we're here. If we didn't have something to heal, we wouldn't be here right now. So
Yeah.
So I think it's beautiful, and thank you for putting this all together.
Oh, thank you so much, Lori. And I think that's so true too, that it's just, and I think for me, it's just having that joining with other people. There's power in numbers, and just to have a conscious decision by everybody, like even if there's people that don't, they're not able to come on a call during this course, or even if they don't open one email, just the sheer intention of joining together in this purpose is healing for everybody, right? Like there's nobody that gets left behind. And I'm just excited for what's to come, because there's, I don't know, just the different people that have been writing to us, and people that have sent Facebook messages and things like that, just saying, you know what, I am just ready to be done with any triggers or things that I just like, they just don't want to go there anymore. It's just, it's like, once you realize that the truth of who you really are, and you can actually just function in a way at knowing that every single thing that comes is for us, right? in the moment, we can't always remember that something could happen that we absolutely don't feel like was for us. And then to have somebody else that's a friend, a mighty companion that's on the same path, that joins with you and just says, and just reminds you, that's all we're really doing, is reminding each other the truth of who we really are, which is just pure love, the light of the world. Like, that's all that's needed. And so I'm excited to do this work. I know I keep saying that, but
Yeah.
yeah, we get it, right? Thank you, Lori. That's good to know that you can unmute yourself. So if anybody else wants to unmute themselves, right, they could do that.
Yeah, they can unmute themselves.
Yeah. So I think Seema's going to share the map of healing, right?
Yeah. Let me just see. Okay. Bonnie, did you want to say something or no? Okay. All right. Let me go to share screen. And yeah. All right. So the map of healing is a tool that I actually got from like a kind of a coaching program I did with Christian Mickelson. And then I sort of tweaked it and I really simplified it. And I shared it with Judy. And she thought it would be a nice tool for us to share that you could practice. So Judy and I are going to do something together, but I would invite the others to think about doing this for yourself, either later once you're off the call, or even right now if you feel inspired to do that. Because like with everything, you have to give it a try and see if you're helped by it or not. So if you were like going on a journey, you would consult a map, right? You would have some way. The hardest thing is this is a journey of the mind. It's an inner journey. So what are our guideposts? How do we know? Where do we want to go? What are the blocks? What are the challenges? Like if you're on a journey and someone says, if you go here, you might meet this, you might have to be careful here. Like if you were like on a hike or something, then that would be really useful situation. So we're kind of doing that for ourselves with respect to whatever challenge we're facing. So Judy and I are going to try to illustrate that for you. Sure why. Okay, try again. Okay, so I'm not sure why this is not. It's the same screen, right? It's not. Oh, here we go. Okay. So usually we'll say, take one area in your life. And that's the other thing. I think like sometimes when you're doing something with the course, like it has to be very practical, and I know David Hoffmeister, he would often say like, you want to go from the ground up, like just start with where you are. So don't go to like, quoting a lesson or quoting, start with like a real situation, apply it, do the application, and then from it, you come to your own experience. And it's a course in miracles, right? A miracle being a shift and experience, not something intellectual. So to take one area of your life where you feel you might need help, clarity, healing, resolution, and usually it could be, the three areas, the broad categories would be something of the physical body or the mind, health of the body or the mind, some relationship stuff, family, work relationship, interpersonal, some kind of relationship concern, or something having to do like with work, life, career, life purpose, that area. So just take one area that you feel like you need clarity on. And then, and Judy and I are going to do this together. The first question, so there's a couple of questions. They're all written here, and I'm going to say them aloud also for those on the call. So with respect to the area you've chosen, if you could wave a realistic magic wand, what is your desire? Now, even that, like, I know for me, like, from an Eastern culture, and then you get to the course, desires, like sometimes we even think, oh, it's not spiritual to have desires. Like you're trying to let go, you're trying to do all this stuff, but it's often good to like the Buddhists talk about this idea of emptying the mind. You want to know your mind, because what you don't know is subconscious, unconscious, has power over you that you don't know. But when you see it for what it is, then you have a choice. So you start with like, okay, if in a particular area, what is it that you would want? And then if you had that experience, how would you feel? What are the challenges that are preventing you from experiencing this? And if you saw yourself moving so that you were facing those challenges or moving in the direction of your goal, how would that feel? Those are the four basic questions. So Judy, do you think we have time to go through?
Yeah, I think we can do it real quick. Yeah, and I
Okay.
think if we go a little bit over and people have to jump off, we totally understand, and we'll just have the recording. And I don't know, I
Okay.
think it's nice to kind of have them see this one in action.
Okay, perfect. All right, so so what I'm going to do is, let's see here. Actually, maybe I'll leave the questions up. And Judy, I'm just going to, I like to write, so I'm just going to take some notes while she's talking, and then I'm going to write it up, and we'll put it up so you can see. If you want to, you can do that also right along as I'm doing it with Judy. So Judy, do you want to choose an area that you think?
Yeah, so an area of my life that I would like to be just completely healed in is just family relationship, my relationship with my sister.
Okay.
And I love my sister, and we're actually, we don't have like any standing issues or anything like that, but it's just really in just the closeness. It's interesting. My birthday's tomorrow. I turn 51, and when I get with my sister, I feel like the little sister that's still 5. And even though I've done all this work with the course and I understand things from that level, it still seems to bother me. And I think of Bonnie and Rebecca and what a beautiful friendship they have together in their sisterhood. And I think that's just amazing. She's like, no, I can't stand her. No, but it's just that the depth of their friend, it's like, it's more than a sisterhood. It's a friendship. And that's what I would like to have, and not be triggered by my older sister.
So I'm hearing that you'd like to have more of a friendship with your sister, to not be triggered. Anything else you want to say?
That's it. Yeah.
And if this were to be your experience, how would you feel if you had this friendship?
I would just feel like that my sister's my friend, and that I can say anything. Like she has a really hard time with my spirituality, and I don't really share, I don't ever try to like pull her into it, or try to do that, but she just doesn't want to go there at all. If I even mention God, the G word, whoa, not okay. So I guess the question was, how would it look if it was healed? I guess it would just be that we would have an amazing friendship, and that we could both be completely authentic with who we are with each other, and that would be okay.
And having that, how would that make you feel? How would you feel?
I think it would just make me feel accepted by her and loved by her, and just we go to Scotland together, like Bonnie and they went on a trip to Scotland together recently. Yeah, just it would just feel like a brand new relationship. Yeah, it'd be exciting.
And what are the challenges? You kind of mentioned some. What are the challenges that prevent that from happening, that you feel are challenges or blocks? Or
Yeah, I just think and we were both raised Catholic, and my dad was very adamant about that the Catholic Church was the only way. And because of that, she turned away completely from a spiritual path. And that's okay too. So I guess I want to get to a place where there's an acceptance and an understanding that you can be on 2 different paths, and there's nobody that's trying to change anybody. So it would really, I guess acceptance is the word that comes to my mind, just an acceptance of each other for exactly who we are, and then just valuing that the other person's opinion or path, even if it's not what might be the one that we want. Does that make sense?
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And are there any other things that prevent that from happening? Like her past experience, you said, might be one
Yeah, so it's just basically her saying, like, if I bring up anything spiritual or anything, she's like, don't go there with me. And just, I guess, really communication is what's preventing it, because I haven't had the guts to this, what I'm saying to you so openly. I really feel like I couldn't say that to her. You know, like I tried writing her a letter a couple of years ago about how I was feeling. And she just rolled her eyes and was like, oh my God, you wrote me a letter? I'm so busy, I didn't even read it yet. And I was like, oh my God. Okay. So it's that kind of feeling of like that feeling that you can, you know, be the light of who you are with other people, even strangers, right? But then it's somebody who's your own family member who you think that you could, you know, just be really open with, but it's not always the case. So.
And how does that feel that you can't do that? How does that feel?
It makes me sad. It kind of, for me, it really goes down to a core belief that I really am working on right now, which is self-worth. It really comes down to worthiness for me. And I know that if I can genuinely dig deep and do this work and bring this false hidden belief that I have about myself of not being worthy, that all relationships will be healed. It won't just be with my sister. It will actually go much deeper than that. So it doesn't, to me, it really doesn't matter what the situation with is, whether it be with my sister or really just, you know, being cut off on the road, right, can bring up those feelings of like, well, why would somebody do that to me? They just think that I don't matter. Like, oh, I'm just going to just, you know, you don't matter. Get out of the way. I'm just going to cut you off kind of thing. So it kind of goes into every area of our lives.
Any other challenges or blocks preventing anything else coming up?
I guess other challenges would just be, I was going to actually post about this on the Facebook group. It's just being vulnerable. The block for me is not wanting to feel vulnerable with my sister. And I think that if I can just get past that and just be vulnerable, have the courage to say what I really feel and tell her like what I want, you know what I mean? What I want for our relationship. I think that that is possible, but it's what's been holding me back is just fear. Right. And I don't know, with anybody else in my life, I feel like I can have an honest and open conversation and just say, hey, can we talk about this? And it just seems to be fine. But for some reason, that particular one is sticky.
Sticky. Yeah. Sticky is a good word. Okay. And so anything else you want to say about any other challenge or anything else, any other thing that could be blocking? You talked about communication. You talked about vulnerability. You talked about the feelings of unworthiness. Anything else?
No, I think that's it. That's all I can think of right now.
And if you saw yourself moving in the direction of healing of that, what would that feel like?
I think what it would feel like is that it wouldn't matter whether or not we're, you know, how close we are or not. It would just be a knowing and an understanding that she is the light of the world and so am I. And just really putting kind of, you know, we could talk about putting everything on the altar, right? Giving this relationship over to Holy Spirit, to our higher power, right? Whoever we feel it is for us, and what that could really mean. You know, what could really happen, and just not trying to control it or fix it. So to me, there's a difference between accepting everything as it is and just letting everything come. That's one thing, right? There's another thing of accepting everything that is, but still feeling triggered and still holding on to something. And when you think about that situation or that relationship or that person, that's, to me, that is the bell that's going off that just says like this, because they say that if you are feeling anything other than you know, peace, you know, or love around that person, that it really has absolutely nothing to do with them, right? It has to do with us.
Yes. So. Yes. Yeah. And actually, so the purpose of what we did is for us to just put out there all the ideas of the relationship, the expectations, what it is, what we'd want it to be, how would we feel. So we've done that. And for those on the call, you might have to do that many times, right? Especially if it's a relationship that's really, really close. So we're not trying to do any kind of like instant, healing. Here we know healing. Things take time, so we want to honor that. But this is a process of like just being with where you are and kind of, as Judy said, putting it on the altar and looking at it and seeing it. And then Judy was kind of automatically going into it. And we know when we're done. Like I remember once I had someone do this and she needed to write like 10 pages. Like there was so much stuff, there was so much stuff. And it was beautiful. She gave herself that permission. And so I want to say the same thing here too, that this isn't like an illustration that, okay, 1 minute you're done, it's just a way, just a process of going in. So,
and then I had one person
Yeah.
wanted to say something, if that's
Yeah.
okay. Joan?
Yes. Yeah. Let me see.
Is there a way for you to unmute Joan?
Yeah.
Or
Let me
you can unmute herself.
Yeah, she can. Okay, here we go.
Yes, thank you so much for.
Joan!
Yeah, and let me
Hi, Judy. All right, so there I am.
Hi, Joan.
Hello, it's so wonderful to join with you here, and thank you so much for starting this all. And Judy, I just had to jump in because what you were just talking about earlier with your sister, I was sitting there going like, huh, is she telling my story or what?
That's funny.
It was so funny.
We have the same sister?
Well, I guess it's just the other way around.
Yep.
I'm the older sister with my
Okay.
sister.
Okay.
She's the younger one.
Yep.
But I have this difficult relationship with her. And I truly, dearly love her. And I would love for us to be really close in our hearts. And we've had times where we were. But she also has this tendency to always withdraw and sort of, go inwards and close off and not be emotionally so unreachable, so far away. And right now she has a face like that, and she's not really being open with me. And so I've learned to just let her go, right? But it does still trigger me. And as you were telling us about this, Judy, I really, it was so interesting to hear you say that and to feel my feelings with it, and then go like, oh God, we're always doing this and feeling this because it's us, I'm feeling this because of me. It actually has nothing to do with my sister. When I'm dead honest, It's only about me. And this means that when I now hear you and I can look into that mirror of seeing myself, I realize that I'm only looking at me feeling not worthy to love and accept myself in such a way that it comes from the inside out, that I as it were, I'd need my sister to mirror that back to me, to tell me, hey, I love you, you're perfectly okay, I just love you for being my sister. And she doesn't do that. But it also means that I don't do that for myself.
I love that, Joan. You're so honest. I can tell you.
This is what you sort of really make me so aware of that when you were saying that. So I want to thank you very much, because it's a very deep issue right now, and I thank you for that.
You're making me cry. I can see you tearing up. Yeah, it's a deep relationship with our sisters, right? And what's so great is that we can join together in this group for healing that once and for all, right? And what's so great is our sisters don't have to do a darn thing.
No, they don't.
Right?
They don't at all.
It's really the work is
no, they are perfect the way they are. They're just letting us look into this mirror, and we can heal. And Jesus has my back, and he tells me you can heal.
Yeah. So I love you. I'm so glad you shared that.
Love you too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's beautiful. My mom's on the call. I'm not sure, because she has an older sister, and I don't have a sister, but I know she would agree, because as she has something, you talked about sticky situations. We all have those sticky files, right? They're like, if our relationships are files, right? There's some that are just they're there. They're there for us to do that, that deeper acceptance of our truth. They're actually there to help us, more than even the people that we might think are, always praising us, because, right? Like sometimes they're the ones that make us confront those deeper areas where we wouldn't go. And I feel like that's exactly the poem that we started the beginning with, that everything it's a guest house, right? So everything can be invited. And I can share the rest of the slides, but meaning basically, Joan, kind of what you're saying, I just want to thank you for what you shared. And also to say that we can join together. Let's all just join together, whether we have a sister or don't. I mean, we all have relationships that, do that for us. It could be a sister, brother, it doesn't matter. But how about the first step would be this commitment and the willingness to let our brother, our sister be the holy relationship that can allow for the healing. And like Judy said, they don't, right now they could receive that energy. We can join and invite them in, but they don't have to do anything. We're just joining with them and saying, aha, I see, you're actually here to help me. You're actually here to help me connect more deeply to my truth. And I thought the ego's purpose is always separation, judgment, criticism, unworthiness, either of myself or the other, right? It's one or the other. So I'm gonna take that from the ego and I'm gonna give it to spirit and say, okay, spirit, you take this relationship and let it be the teacher that it's meant to be. Let it be the healed reflection, as Joan was saying, the reflection of who I truly am. And I think that's so powerful when we all join together in doing that. And that's it. That's the willingness that every relationship, everything, just by our choice, isn't it amazing? Just by our choice, like no one has to do anything differently, just by our choice that we want the healing and we want to give it spirit's purpose, not the ego's purpose, can start the healing happening. So thank you for sharing, Joan, because I think it invites all of us that we can join in that purpose together.
Well, and that's that vulnerability too. And I love you so much, Joan, for just being so honest and open. And what it is I think when we've been studying the Course for so long, or just other practices, there's people that are going to listen to this call or that might be on this call that don't even know what A Course in Miracles is, right? They have their own beautiful path up the mountain that they are traveling on. But having that vulnerability and being able to share openly and just say, you know what, I still get stuck, and to be able to just be really honest about it and share with an open heart about what we're feeling. Like there's a lot of talk sometimes about, oh, we're really not supposed to feel anything. We're just supposed to just move forward, keep going, remember the truth, think about the different concepts and things that we've learned in the Course. But to me, if you can't unearth those feelings, what's under the water, that part of the iceberg that we can't see, if we can't dive down into that and heal that, this is just going to keep happening. You know what I mean? We could be on a call next week and I could be saying the same thing about the gardener, or the, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, it doesn't matter who the players are, right? It doesn't matter. There's like we said, there's really no one outside of us. And just in the part of just admitting it to me is the most powerful thing, and not feeling any shame, any worry that other people are going to judge and think, well, how could that person be feeling that way? I really thought that they got this, and that, we just wanted it to be a place where people really felt like there was no judgment and no, to me, when somebody is really authentic and honest about what they're really experiencing, it doesn't make me think that they don't get it. It makes me think that they do get it, and that they're doing the work, and they're just looking at things honestly and authentically and bringing them up to the light so that they can be healed. So to me, it's really exciting what's going to happen. It's good.
So I wonder if anyone else wants to share or reflect, or
Bonnie.
Yeah. Okay. See, actually, there he goes.
Yeah, I like that. What Judy was saying. Just so we can clarify, mine and Becky, we didn't always have that kind of relationship. You know, we grew up being close, so we've always been around each other. But boy, we had a lot of energy going on, and you know, there's a lot of that. But you know, it's the type of relationship though that it shows you what can happen.
Yeah.
And you can have that too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But so and what came to mind, you know, Judy, being on this screen in front of these people, so open and honest and vulnerable, is that, you know, as soon as you do that, you put it out there, and it's not sitting inside your body anymore and sitting inside your mind, you know, holding you hostage. Once you put it out there, it's out there, and I'm telling you, Judy, I wouldn't even be surprised you get off this call and your sister probably has called you or texted you, because it's that kind of energy.
Yeah.
It's that kind of energy when you kind of release it out of there, and it's not holding you hostage anymore. That it's a whole different energy, you know. It's the same, you know, when the course came into Helen and Bill, and you know, it just created a whole new energy in our world.
Yeah.
And so I just wanted to say that it's you know, we do that exercise every now and then on our Friday group. Bill Free will have people pair up, and one of them, you just have to sit there and be like a wall.
Yeah.
And let the person say something to you, and you don't go, "Oh dear, it's okay." You just let them say something to you, and then you do that to them, and the energy is totally changes when you let it loose.
Yeah, I love
So
that.
so I totally encourage it. Say it out loud, you guys.
Yeah.
That's it.
Thank you so much, Bonnie. That was beautiful. I love that you said that too, that it wasn't always like that with you and Becky, because I heard a saying recently that said we compare the inside of what's going on with us with the outside of everybody else, right?
Yes.
We don't actually know what's going on inside any relationship, but it's just how we gauge things in the world, right? So I'm just so grateful that we all have each other, that we have these teachings, because we can go deeper and we can bring these things to the surface. So that I have a great friend who's another course teacher. His name is Axel. He lives out here in California, and he's like, Judy, I want you to become bulletproof. And I'm like, oh, I love that. That sounds good to me. It sounds a little bit like we don't want people, you know, shooting at us in that sense. But it's just reaching a level of knowing that I'm going to be triggered here and there. We're all going to be triggered. There are things that are going to happen. And that if we feel like we need some extra support and we need to join with other people, but that's why we created this group. So it's going to be really helpful. I think that we can refer back to it too if we have those moments that get sticky. Those sticky moments. Thank you.
Thank you, Bonnie. Thank you for sharing. I wonder, we have maybe a couple, let's see, what time is it?
Oh, wow, it's 12. It's already 11 past.
Oh, it is. Okay. Well, I was thinking I could unmute everyone maybe one at a time. If everyone wanted to say like a word, an intention, or anything, maybe that would be a nice way. If you can stay on, if you have to get off the call, that's fine too. Maybe that would be a nice way to just close the call.
And if anybody also, I was thinking too, if we have a chance, if anybody wants to just state an intention of what they want to heal in this program, if there's kind of something that made them hit that enroll button.
Yeah. So actually, well, Bonnie, did you want to add anything?
I like joining. I haven't done other programs, and one of my things was I really wanted to support Judy and Seema when doing this, but I knew I would benefit, you know, myself doing, because of course, you know, we all have, you know, things going on, and I just that's why I'm here. We'll see. Let it unfold.
Yay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. Lori, would you like to say anything?
Sure. So yeah, Bonnie, same. Here to support Judy, certainly, because Judy's been such a great support of spiritual awakening for me too. And I so love her and appreciate that.
Thank
Um,
you.
but also it's just to be here open-minded and open-hearted, and to recognize that we're the only one that's here. So in listening to everybody else, everyone is going to have the same story, different circumstance, but the same story. But that's where all the healing happens. So,
Thank you so much, Lori. You're the
well,
best.
Arthur? Oops, sorry. Okay, sorry about that.
How are you?
Hi.
Sure.
I get the opportunity to spend a lot of time with people in guidance. So I always join the programs so I can absorb as much guidance as I can as a learning tool for me, so then I can turn that guidance back out. And nothing's ever going to hurt us. You know, we can never not have enough guidance and love. And that's all we're doing is we're absorbing the love and we give it back. And as soon as Judy mentioned the program, I signed up. And to support everyone, including myself. You know, we have to take care of self before we can take care of somebody else. And that's why I join everything. And that's all I got, I guess.
Thank you so much, Arthur.
Thanks for having me.
Your enthusiasm and your excitement about all of this and just everything that you caught, just the different groups and everything. We just think you're amazing. You're always right there. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I love you.
Thank you. Okay, Joan, would you like to add anything else?
That was just perfect what you were saying, Arthur. Just join in the love and feel the love. That's what I felt so strongly, that there's lots and lots of love here. And so as I felt guided, then very much urged to say something that came right from the heart. And I feel but when we do that, and when we're true to ourselves and each other, then, you know, spirit is with us, and the love will expand quite naturally.
Yeah.
And so this is what I wish for all of us.
Oh, thank you, Joan. You're another one that's always just right there. I see all your comments on Facebook, and you're always encouraging people and always supporting people, and just like with just the best attitude. It just comes through in the words. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Judy. Same goes for you. And that's also why I wanted to join, to be there, because you were there for me as well. And
Oh, thank
this
you.
is how to be there for one another.
It's nice, isn't it? I know. You make me cry again. Thank you.
You're
Love
welcome.
you.
Love you too.
Pam?
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hi, Pam.
The thought came across when Arthur was speaking was that everything comes to us for a reason, and everything is here for us for a reason. So why would I ever turn away from anything that's going to help me grow? So, and you're going to get something from every class, every lecture, every post, everything. You're going to get something. So that's why I'm here. And just a little addition to the sister relationship. I have that, but I don't. There's certain friends I don't have that with. So you just don't. There's certain things you just don't say.
Yes.
And I know that it's the basic bottom line of that is because I've dealt with unworthiness before, but it's just that fear of being judged.
Yeah.
It's just judged. We don't, and why do I care what? Why should I let them stop me from being who I really am and being the light that I really am? So it's just for us to get past that. It's our own issue. It's not them not accepting us. It's ourselves not accepting ourselves.
Yes. And Pam, I feel so bad. I can't remember which Pam you are because there's Pam Fernandez and there's Pam Thieveridge. And I just was wondering which Pam you are.
Pam Fernandez.
Okay, thank you so much. We have two Pams in our group, and I just love you both. The Pams are here.
We
I
are.
love all the things that you post too. Thank you so much. We all seem to have that sister thing, huh?
Let's see, Bonnie? I don't know if I can, oh. I'm not sure if I can, okay, let me go. Teresa? Did you want to share anything? Hi, Teresa, are you there?
Hi, yes.
Hi. If you'd like to share something, we can hear you.
Hi, Teresa.
I just think it's really funny. I have sister issues too. I guess everybody has sister issues.
That's funny.
Although they used to be much more serious in my mind before I started doing Course in Miracles, and my relationship with my sisters come a really long way from where it was. So I'm sure it can just keep getting better.
Oh, that's great. That's awesome.
That's perfect. Thank you.
So glad you're here.
Okay, Jeanette? Hi.
Oh, thank you. Hi. Well, you know, it's about a year ago that I was like in this chaotic period. And Judy, I don't know how we connected initially, but somehow we did. And you were there for me. And I was astounded at the just the opening that you gave me and the freedom to express what I was going through during that time. So as soon as I saw your email about this program, that's the reason that I came in. And now to meet Seema, it's going to be wonderful. So thank you for always for being there. That was just, I was just amazed that a so-called, in quotes, stranger that I was to you at the time, you just brought me into your heart. So thank you so much, Judy.
That makes me so happy. Thank you so much. And you know what? I remember that phone call really well. Thank you. And I remember that joining, and that's just, to me, just my passion is to just, you know, continue to connect with people and just really, that's all we are there for each other, is just when we momentarily forget who we really are, to join with that other person that can remind us. That's all we
And
need.
it was like, right, and the condition of time wasn't even there. In other words, we could have just spent probably hours together, and it was just not even thought of. The time that you spent with me was just given so freely, and I'll always remember that, Judy.
Oh, thank you so much. I really, really
Thank
appreciate you. I'm glad you're here.
And I
Me
just
too.
thank you, Jeanette. Thank you so much. Thank you. I just had to say that Arthur sent a message, plus you can do this stuff in your pajamas.
I love it. Yes, you can.
So that's
Awesome.
great. That's great. Let's see. Betsy? Can you hear us? Betsy? Okay.
Yeah, some people might be might have.
Yeah, they might.
muted.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And I think let me. It's my parents. I'm not sure. Hi, Mommy, Papa. Hello. Okay. All right. So. Hi,
Seema.
Hi. Do you want to say anything?
No, it's okay.
Aw, they just want to be here to support you.
Maybe next time.
Lot of strength and energy.
Yeah. No, you people went very good. We love it. And all the best.
Okay. Thank you, Papa. Thank you. Okay. All right. All right. Okay. Well, thank you everyone for just sharing your presence and being here. Really, Judy and I have felt this even before. I think that vibe of that love, love and guidance. I think Arthur said love, guidance, healing. we could feel it. So it's just so great now to like in person, you know, even though we're not in person, but you know what I mean, that,
Yeah.
you know, we're seeing everyone together. So, and I feel like it's being shared, even those that aren't on the call. I just kind of feel telepathically, it's all being shared. And that just really feels really, really good. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. Really. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everybody. Love you all so much. See you next week if you can make it.
Yeah. Yeah. Lori says peace and love till the next time. So thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Mwah.